Kalukale o frabjous day. Hello again, konnichiwa, atari, akazawa at your service. And today, I'm going to be talking about a game I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. My number one mmorpg. Is it Guild Wars 2? Well, obviously I made a video about how much it sucks. So no, is it World of Warcraft? Well, I love that one, but this isn't a video about that one, in fact. It's actually number 2. No, it's a Final Fantasy XIV, Realm Reborn. No, is it any number of other MMORPGs?
Get on with it!
Okay, get on. It is, in fact, Dungeons and Dragons Online. Did you like that little compilation I did? I just tried to fit together a bunch of the trailers for a whole bunch of expansions, the ones that I really like for Dungeons and Dragons Online. I've wanted to put a little something together. So yes, Dungeons and Dragons Online is one of the most unique MMORPGs on the market. It's well over a decade old. It was made in the 2000s, mid-2000s, along with World of Warcraft, and I think Guild Wars 1 as well, Guild Wars Reforged. And it's good to bring up Guild Wars, because actually, again, I don't hate Guild Wars the IP, I'm just not into Guild Wars 2. But Guild Wars 1, Dungeons and Dragons Online, which I discovered about six-ish odd years ago, I guess, it's made me appreciate Guild Wars 1 a lot, because it's the same kind of structure. It's a very unique kind of structure for MMORPGs. You know, if you use World of Warcraft as kind of gold standard for what everyone emulates and tries to be like, Dungeons and Dragons Online and Guild Wars 1 or Guild Wars Reforged, which is a much better game. I really like Guild Wars Reforged as a core. They do things differently. They have this thing like in Dungeons and Dragons Online where you have like a kind of you have city areas where everyone can come together. That's when you see all the other players bouncing around. But then you have what are known as wilderness areas. I love wilderness areas. These are where you can explore the world and the lore, and it's really fun. I find it really fun because you'll come across locations and even creatures sometimes, and the narrator will pop out. And the narrator is a big deal in Dungeons and Dragons Online. The narrator will describe the thing to you, and as someone who's got vision loss problems, I love any kind of audio uniqueness to a game like this, and I really love the narrators in Dungeons and Dragons Online. And so it's really fun to run around this world and suddenly the narrator will just pop up describing the thing you've suddenly discovered, and it's a lot of fun. And there's like a lot of rares, and I just really enjoy it. This whole video, I'm just going to be gushing over Dungeons and Dragons Online as I try to explain it and how I came to it and why I think it's a fantastic title and why it is the number one MMO for me. Even though Warcraft, the IP, is going to always be a big place in my soul, Dungeons and Dragons Online, to me, is the number one MMORPG. So I hope you enjoy this video and come along with me for it. Dungeons and Dragons Online. It was made, I believe, in 2006 or so when it was released. It was actually published by Atari, so it's even more relevant for my little channel here. Not that Atari internally created it, but they initially published it. And this is a game that I knew nothing about. I was not aware of it whatsoever. And I'm so happy I did discover it when I did. It looks old. This is not a game with incredible graphics, as the little compilation can make clear to you, and I'll be showing clips of gameplay in this video. And Dungeons & Dragons Online, I think looks great. I like the way it looks. It's not terrifically stylized or painterly or anything like that. It's good. The graphics are good. Some of the music, like in the compilation I showed, and the music I'm playing now throughout this video, which is from Evening Star, which is from I think Menace of the Underdark, the first expansion. Some of the music in Dungeons & Dragons Online is so freaking amazing. I mean, most video games, frankly, get amazing music, but the tunes in Dungeons & Dragons Online, as an old fart in my 40s who has played countless video games, the music of Dungeons & Dragons Online can be just incredible. The graphics may not always blow you away, but again, I think they're quite good, especially the dinosaurs in Isle of Dread, which is one of my favorite expansions for this game. If you do decide to take the delve and jump into this game and start buying expansions, I recommend Isle of Dread. It's an old-ass D&D setting, and they've done a fantastic job. As a huge dinosaur lover, I can tell you I was really surprised at the amount of dino species they had in this. They have Carnotauruses in this expansion, which is like, holy crap. They've got Styracosaurs, and they've got Triceratops. They've, of course, got Tyrannosaurus Rexes, but they also have Allosauruses as well, on top of like the Carnotaurus. And then, of course, your normal sauropods, which aren't anything to write home about. And then the raptors, of course, the raptors. You get a hireling raptor called Teal, so you must buy at least the collector's edition of Isle of Dread. It's just so worth it. I can't stop going on about it. I really love it. Yeah. Oh, but I should get back to talking about what the actual meat and potatoes of this MMORPG is and why it's so unique and awesome. So going back to what I was saying before, there's this wilderness area where you do the exploring. It's one of my favorite parts. The main meat and potatoes of Dungeons & Dragons are instance quests. So typically an expansion will have 9 to 13 or so quests. And these quests, unlike in World of Warcraft, they're not go kill 10 kobolds and collect 5 herbs of whatever and then run back to the person. The individual quests are proper quests. They're like World of Warcraft dungeons, only you can do them solo, which is fantastic. And Dungeons & Dragons Online not only has these hirelings you can get, but many classes can summon creatures and guys to help you. The rock elementals, the earth elementals are really freaking cool in this game. I really love them. And it's not just mages that can summon them. Many classes can summon many different summonable things. So you jump into these instanced quests, and because of this, the quests can be super short or super long and epic, and they can be just about anything your mind can think of, which is why this is so cool. So that you might think, oh, an expansion only has 13 quests, but those are like 13 quests that could potentially be all over the place with what you're actually doing in them. So they're like, that some can be really long, a medium, short, and just, the sky's the limit for all the kind of creativity they can have. And some of these quests are really creative and cool. It's just fantastic. And there's so many of them. There's tons and tons of instance quests that you can get into and enjoy. And if I didn't mention earlier, again, this game doesn't have technically any real cutscenes. So the cutscenes they have are basically just in-engine things, like the little compilation I made. I did want to show off, and I mean, technically I guess this is a spoiler, but not really. I did want to show off what the cutscenes in Dungeons & Dragons Online can be like. So this little snippet is from Fables of the Feywild, all about the fairies and Ladrin and everything else wonderful like that. Very, very Irish, which is my short speller, Irish too. So this little snippet will give you an idea of what the cutscenes are kind of like in Dungeons & Dragons Online. And well, I hope you enjoy.
Sides to this deal. And how can I be sure that you'll deliver what you've promised?
You ask much. You wish to transform the entire Feywild.
Oh, I wish to restore the Feywild. Return it to what it was before the Eladrin littered it with courts and palaces. This was once a place of unfettered freedom, touched only by the pure hand of nature.
Nature, yes, you needn't worry about that. I have found a place that civilization has never touched. A place where nature is unbounded. All you need do is open the door, and nature will flow forth like a flood.
You keep talking about this door, well and good, but what I need is the key.
The key is my secret for now. You'll receive it when the time is right. We will arrange one more meeting, where we'll make our exchange. Yet, as you seem impatient, so I have brought a gift. Corrupted unicorns, a breed found nowhere in this place. You'll find they make effective servants.
Effective spies, you mean? But no worries. I'll find a use for them, I'm sure.
Remember, Archfey, you're not the only one who can do me this service.
So there you go. That's just a little bit, I don't think it's a huge spoiler, but I mean, I like them. It's really fun because you never know when you might come across something like that in the actual instance quests that you're doing. And so when you come across them, it's a real fun, it's a real joy to come across these little lore snippets of the actual story that's happening in the game. So again, it doesn't have big cutscenes and whatnot, but that's what World of Warcraft is for me. The trade-off is that Dungeons & Dragons Online, even though I really wish the developers would create a little cutscene, because the first expansion does have some proper cutscenes. It's about the Drow and their goddess Loth and stuff messing things around, and they're really nice. I like the little cutscenes DDO has, but I wish they'd have more. I mean, they can't cost that much more to make them. They really gouge us when it comes to like ultimate editions of each expansion. So I mean, come on, man, they can't cost you that much. But anyways, so it doesn't technically have like a lot of cutscenes by any means, but what it does have, on top of that cool structure of the bones of DDO being as I described it, with these instanced aspects of the wilderness areas and the quests. And again, it's very similar to kind of Guild Wars Reforged or Guild Wars 1. Anyone who's fans of Guild Wars 1. If you're fans of Guild Wars 1, you should definitely try Dungeons & Dragons Online, in my opinion. I think the two can complement each other really well. Even though I'm not a big Guild Wars 1 fan for many reasons, because unlike Guild Wars Reforged, DDO gives you tons of races to play as, non-human races to play as, and it's glorious. The Tabaxi look exceptionally good in this game, because people may think the graphics may not look that great. Well, the Tabaxi look freaking fantastic in my opinion, and the Dragonborn honestly look quite good. Sometimes the Dragonborn don't look great, sometimes they do, but their breath attack, when you click the breath attacks in this game, they're so satisfying. I find them really satisfying. But yeah, so it may not have the most bewildering graphics on planet Earth, but it has a depth when it comes to the classes. Again, this is echoing, I guess I'll be saying it a lot, Guild Wars Reforged, Guild Wars 1, which also has this level of class depth to it. But in DDO, it's so great. It's so much fun. You can multi-class a ton. There are literally multiple levels of multi-classing, but then on top of that, you have the reincarnation system. This is the big thing about DDO. It's one of the things that makes it so unique. One of the reasons I love it so much is that technically there's a level cap in the 30s, but because of how you actually level, like, each level is made up of 5 parts, and you get 5 points for each one level. And so you get your little experience bar, and that goes up to 1 point, and then it goes up again, and 2 points. It goes up again, 3 points, etc. And then you can actually level up that way. I think it's a really cool system. It can make it feel really long, but I also like it. But basically, when you get to level 20, the heroic levels are 1 to 20, and then epic are 20 to 30, and then finally legendary is 30 and up. And so far, the level cap is 36. So a lot of DDO can sound very complicated, which is part of the fun. If you like things that are super complicated, or you want to have at least one of your games being super complicated and deep, baby, this game is as deep as the Mariana Trench. It is fantastic for that. Specifically the classes. You can, I love to role play when I create a character, so I'm always creating stories of who they are and what they are. So for instance, you could do something like make a Dragonborn, have him have green skin, and basically you can create a druid, and there's a Blightcaster subclass of the druid in this game. The Blightcasters are like the dark druids. They're like the nasty side of nature. So the death and decay, poison and acid attacks are the main shizness of the Blightcaster. This is also what green dragons are only too. So if you love D&D, and DDO is my way of embracing the joys of Dungeons and Dragons in video game form. And as a kid in the 80s, I loved the lore of Dungeons and Dragons. I never actually played the tabletop game, and I definitely never found much in the way of video games of D&D that were great. But now I finally have. And I've tried Neverwinter, for instance, which graphically is like way better, and it's got tons of cutscenes. But the depth of Neverwinter is like a freaking shallow pond compared to, again, the Mariana Trench of DDO. It is just incredible. And in many ways, I think DDO honestly looks better. I think it looks better. I don't like the 2010s look of graphics in games, which Guild Wars 2 is part of it. I guess it's one reason I don't like Guild Wars 2. But the graphics and looks of things made in the 2000s, and the way the gameplay is often in games from the 2000s, it's just great. There's just something about it. I really love it. I'm sure if you're watching this, especially if you got to this point, you'll know what I mean. But anyway, so getting back to a Dragonborn character, let's say you love green dragons. I love green, and I love green dragons. They're the best. #1 dragon, chromatic dragons to me. And they're all about nature too, but they're evil, cunning bastards, and I love it. I love them for that. Their main breath attack is poison, and so they love that whole poison, acid, death and decay thing, being like evil nature druids. You can kind of do that with a Dragonborn you want to make by, I think, Blightcaster. And then so when you get to level 20, you can reincarnate about 3 times. I think it's a max 3 times for each class. So you can do that with the Blightcaster, and you permanently get like a +3 to something, like a +3 to your hireling power, a +3 to poison, a +3 to whatever like that. So each time you reincarnate, you get these cool permanent perks, points to your character each time you reincarnate. And while you can only do it 3 times each class, you can do it basically to every class in the freaking game. You can do this reincarnate thing if you want, and if you're crazy, you could do like every class to get what are called the past lives. These are these permanent points for your character. So that's really fun and really cool for you to develop that on your character. But then also, let's say again, if you're role-playing, and as I am from my Dragonborn Green Dragon Incarnate character, is that I love the dragon breath of the Dragonborn. They have an entire, every race has a racial tree. There's these great little trees that are essentially your class. But your racial tree, I wish World of Warcraft had this. I wish we had like a racial, like Draenei Space Goat, tree that gave them special abilities only the Draenei have. You got that in Dungeons and Dragons Online. So the Dragonborn tree, I love the Dragonborn tree because they have these like hard scales abilities that make you extra tough and durable. But also the dragon breath is a big thing for Dragonborn in DDO with their tree. So you can choose from any of the chromatic dragons in regards to their breath attacks as a Dragonborn. And so I'm, again, in this role play mode that I have with this character, I'm creating him like a sort of mortal green dragon, essentially, with the Blightcaster and that whole theme. But I'm making his breath attack fire, because fire attacks in DDO are so much fun. There's this crackling sound effect when people catch on fire, and a bunch of characters can catch on fire in such a satisfying, glorious way. That crackle when you scorch people with dragon breath or fireballs is so satisfying in DDO. It's so freaking satisfying. I love it. It just, it releases some great stuff into my brain. I really love it. And so this is an example of the kind of depth and uniqueness you can make a character. So I can make this like mortal green dragon, dragonborn, who's got green skin. He's in the Blightcaster, so he's casting acid, cool acid spells and evil nature spells. But then I can give him a fire breath attack, and I can put extra points into the dragon breath fire attack to make it extra strong. And then I can have him wielding like a freaking great sword. And then you can get all weapons often get these fantastic little like aspects to them added on to them, like plus this or plus that. But for me, I love the elemental add-ons. And the elemental add-ons, you always see a little effect, either like a frosty effect if it's ice, or fire, it's like on fire if it's fire. And again, the fire attack effects are so much fun when you're swiping your greatsword and everybody's catching on fire. It just feels so good. Or if you like, any of the other magical effects, those things are often on these weapons as well. So you could customize, as I'm customizing, my Dragonborn Green Dragon mortal character, and I'm hoping to eventually, when I do get him up to the level 30s, I want to specifically equip him with a nice big great fire great sword whenever I can, as well as giving him all these cool acid, poison, fireball attacks and things, and then increasing his like Dragonborn abilities for tough skills. So it's just, there's so much fun stuff you can do and be creative in the kind of classes and race combinations in this game that I have never ever seen before. It is just so layered and deep with how you can go. That game, the big games like World of Warcraft and Guild Wars 2 and all these other things, they just do not come near this. Like DDO looks on the surface so simple, and like with this look and graphics nowhere near as flashy, no cutscenes and all that kind of stuff. But this depth of the game is so impressive and amazing. It's unbeatable on that level. And there's a new expansion coming out as I make this in late July, in which the Duergar are going to be playable. I love saying Duergar because it's more Scottish, so it just sounds greater for me to sound Duergar than Duergar. Like Duergar. That's the way you say it, lads. Duergar. Anyways, it's going to be taking place in the Underdark with the Demogorgon, which is going to be it's going to be such a fantastic. It's going to be wilderness area, 13 quests. Oh, it's so good. You've got these cool ass psionic abilities and things as Duergar in DDO. It's going to be so much dang fun. So I'm just loving it. I'm I'm happy with the way it looks. I don't need fancy schmancy graphics. I hear people talking about the mmorpg genre needs to evolve. Well, I don't think it does, baby, because I love playing these games that were made in the 2000s. They can get small graphical improvements every now and then. DDO is actually getting an upgrade to the Drow graphically, playable Drow in the game for free. That's coming in the fall, winter, so that's cool. So I love it when MMORPGs get this and do that, when they get these little upgrades. I think that's fantastic. They can just keep doing this until I die, hopefully in my 90s, like over 40 years from now. Keep it going. Keep it going. I don't need a huge revolution. I'm really interested in Guild Wars 3. That's going to be my quote-unquote evolution, but it's going to be just one. I'm only doing one game like that, whereas the two MMOs I really love are Dungeons & Dragons Online and World of Warcraft, and then we'll have a nice little third one, Guild Wars 3. I'm looking forward to that, and I'll be making videos on that too, because I'm really interested to see where that goes and how that is developed. But with Dungeons & Dragons Online, I just cannot stop recommending it. It's really great because, again, with the graphics, when people talk about the graphics, it has a lot of cool things that will surprise you, such as when you get Bart skin. In many games, you just get a kind of crappy look to your character, like even in World of Warcraft, which technically has way better graphics and certainly cutscenes and cinematics, bark skin for druids in World of Warcraft sucks. Bark skin and like stone skin as well that you can get in DDO, your character's entire body turns into bark. It's so cool. I was so surprised when I freaking clicked this, and then when I was like, holy cow, that's so freaking cool. And as a Blightcaster, there's like this thing called the Thornkin, which again is this cool ass, crazy, weird ass, like barky tree armor you get with these cool shoulder pads sticking out and stuff. And and again, like stone skin, you turn to stone, you look like you're stone. There's so many of these cool, subtle little things that happen in Dungeons and Dragons Online that I think you'd be pleasantly surprised with. And if you've wanted creativity, this is the big thing about Dungeons and Dragons Online. If you value creativity, if you ever wanted creativity in an MMORPG that also doesn't need to stress you out people. If you're an introverted person who hates humanity like me, then you'll love this because you can just keep everyone like away. You know, like I like having the option, and I like that they're knowing there are other people playing the game, but I also don't want to have to be forced to interact with them if I don't want to, which is 99.9% of the time. But if you value creativity in creating a character that really speaks to you, race and class-wise, you can just, there's so much to do in this game. There's even like a Mega Man class, the Alchemist, where you get, and macro something where you get like a rune arm, which I haven't fully played yet. I'm looking forward to doing it with the Duke. I want to do a macro technic, I think it's called, and make him a Mega Man dwarf, evil dwarf, where it looks like your rune arm is like basically a freaking Mega Man cannon, go like that, and it's really cool. And of course the gameplay is, it's not tab targeting. I love tab targeting a lot because of my vision problems, and so I'm not the biggest fan of the way that the action combat is like in DDO, but you might. Most normal people with normal working eyes do like that, and characters will jump all over the place. Your aim actually does matter, and same with the villains. You know, like you can see like a fireball going flying over this way because you've just moved out of the way just in time for it to move it out of the way like that. It's really cool. It's really cool. I really like that, and just the way you can specialize in your abilities and how they really do matter, so that like a fire elemental, if you spew a huge fireball at a fire elemental, it's not going to really do much as opposed to something like World of Warcraft and many others. So in DDO, if you're fighting like an ice creature and you throw a fireball at it, it's going to have a big effect on it, and vice versa. If you throw like a fireball at an ice creature, it's going to have a big effect on it. Same with all the different kinds of magics. And I just find that really, really cool. And I suppose just to kind of end this out is just, once again, this is my favorite way to enjoy the massive, epic, ancient lore of Dungeons and Dragons, because I'm not big for a board game thing. I love my video games. And I'm just so happy that we have this fantastic MMORPG that is, in many ways, it feels like it's not an MMORPG, but it's so deep, and it's based on the third rules of D&D, I believe. So it's not really current DDO, Dungeons and Dragons, and it's set in Eberron. I think I'm going to be making videos on Eberron, the setting, because I love Eberron. I really do. It's this crazy steampunk setting. I really love how the dragons are handled in Eberron, so that my favorite green dragons, for instance, can have all the abilities and look of their Forgotten Realms counterparts, of the chromatics, of the evil chromatics, who are all evil. But in Dungeons and Dragons Eberron setting, you could potentially have green dragons who are absolutely not evil, but they still look like those giant brachiosaurs from the Forgotten Realms and stuff, and still have all their abilities. So I really love that. And there are many dragon quests in DDO. We still haven't had a proper dragon expansion, which I want a lot. I want to see the rise of Tiamat, essentially the version of Tiamat in Eberron, the daughter of Kyber, I think she's called. I want something like that in DDO. I want a nice big expansion dealing with 5-headed Tiamat and maybe like an avatar or something like that, and just like really get into that. I really want that because it's Dungeons and Dragons. So let's, you know, I really want my Tiamat in there, just going crazy. Because I love this game from the D&D lore. I love this game. It's my girl, and if you try it too, you know, let me know. Have you tried it? Are you a fan of Dungeons & Dragons Online? Does any of this make you excited for it? Because I'm, as I said, I'm really excited for it. I'm going to be making many more videos on Dungeons & Dragons Online. I've been meaning to, I've been wanting to, and this was my first one. I just kind of wanted to talk about it, and talk about how the reasons why I love it, and hopefully you found this video interesting, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it again. Like how did you come to DDO, if you did, or is it completely new to you? I'd love to hear from people who have never heard of Dungeons & Dragons Online. And so you're kind of like me, like 6 years ago when I just discovered this thing that's like almost 20 years old. I was like, oh, I never heard about it before. I never did. I really never did. And it's like, dang, this thing is freaking awesome. So I really hope I can hear from some total newbies who maybe will try this for the first time and get back to me. Tell me what you think. Do you agree that the Tabaxi are fantastic? They're my favorite race so far. The Duogon might surpass them, frankly, because, you know, normally I wouldn't be, but the Duogon are really freaking cool, and I love that they're in here. So with that, yeah, this has been Atari Akazawa, and I hope you have a wonderful, fabulous day, and do give me a like and subscribe if you made it to the end. I'd really appreciate that. And I'll be seeing you again if you do like and subscribe, and many more gaming content, and possibly movies and pop culture and things. So until then, sayonara.